Hi, I am Dr. Elina Hartwell. Welcome to my channel. There comes a moment in many people's lives when they slowly begin disappearing from the world without physically going anywhere. They stop calling people back, stop attending gatherings, stop making plans, stop engaging socially, and little by little, their world becomes smaller, quieter, and emotionally distant. What makes this dangerous is that many older adults do not even realize what is happening psychologically. At first, it feels harmless. I just enjoy being alone more. I'm tired of drama. I don't have the energy for people anymore. And while solitude itself is not unhealthy, prolonged social withdrawal in older age can quietly begin changing the mind in powerful ways. Because the human brain was never designed for long-term emotional isolation. As a psychologist, I believe one of the most misunderstood dangers of aging is not simply physical decline. It is social disconnection. People often focus on medication, diet, and exercise as they age, but many completely overlook the psychological importance of staying socially engaged. And research consistently shows something alarming. When older adults stop socializing for long periods, the brain, emotions, memory, identity, and even physical health can begin deteriorating faster. In this video, we're going to explore what actually happens to your mind when you stop socializing in older age, and most importantly, how to protect your mental and emotional health before isolation quietly takes control of your life. Because social connection is not just entertainment for the human brain. It is emotional survival. One of the first things that happens when older adults stop socializing is emotional narrowing. Human interaction keeps emotions active and balanced. Conversations, laughter, disagreements, shared experiences, affection, and connection all stimulate emotional processing in the brain. But when social interaction disappears, emotional life often becomes smaller and flatter. Days begin blending together. Emotional stimulation decreases. Life becomes repetitive. And psychologically, the mind begins operating in a more limited emotional environment. This is why many isolated older adults report feeling emotionally numb, unmotivated, or mentally exhausted. The brain needs emotional engagement to remain psychologically healthy. The solution psychologically is intentional interaction, not superficial noise, meaningful connection. Even small moments of conversation, shared activities, or emotional openness help stimulate emotional vitality. Because emotions weaken when they are never expressed or shared. Another major thing that happens when older adults stop socializing is increased overthinking. This is extremely common psychologically. When people spend too much time isolated, the mind often turns inward excessively. Without external stimulation, the brain begins replaying worries, regrets, fears, and negative thoughts repeatedly. Psychologists call this rumination. And rumination becomes dangerous because the mind loses emotional balance without outside perspective. Small worries begin feeling enormous. Past mistakes feel heavier. Loneliness feels permanent. And over time, isolated individuals often become trapped inside their own thoughts. The psychological solution is social perspective. Healthy interaction interrupts unhealthy mental loops. Talking to others helps regulate thinking, challenge distorted thoughts, and reconnect the mind to reality outside itself. This is one reason emotionally connected people often cope with stress better than chronically isolated individuals. Another major effect of social withdrawal in older age is cognitive decline. This surprises many people, but social interaction is one of the brain's most powerful forms of mental exercise. Every conversation activates memory, language, emotional interpretation, attention, and problem-solving abilities. The brain stays active through engagement. But when older adults stop socializing, mental stimulation often decreases dramatically. The mind becomes underused. And research consistently shows that chronic social isolation is associated with increased risk of memory problems and cognitive deterioration. Why? Because the brain ages faster when it is not regularly challenged and stimulated. The psychological solution is staying mentally engaged through social connection. Conversations matter. Learning matters. Sharing ideas matters. Participating in activities matters. Even simple interactions help keep the brain active and responsive. Another thing that happens psychologically when older adults stop socializing is loss of identity. This is deeply important. Human identity is shaped through relationships. People know themselves partly through interaction. Family roles, friendships, conversations, community involvement. But prolonged isolation can slowly weaken that sense of identity. Some older adults begin asking, "Who am I now? Does anyone still need me? Do I still matter?" Without meaningful social connection, many people begin feeling emotionally invisible, and psychologically, feeling invisible damages self-worth. The solution is maintaining social roles and meaningful involvement, helping others, mentoring, volunteering, participating in community, sharing wisdom and experiences. Purpose and connection protect identity. Another major effect of stopping socialization is increased depression. This is one of the most dangerous psychological consequences of isolation. Human beings are neurologically wired for connection. The brain expects emotional interaction. And when isolation continues for long periods, the nervous system often shifts into chronic emotional stress. Lonely older adults frequently experience hopelessness, fatigue, irritability, sleep problems, sadness, loss of motivation, and emotional emptiness. But what makes this especially dangerous is that depression in older adults often goes unnoticed. Many people mistake emotional withdrawal for normal aging. But psychologically, chronic isolation is not emotionally neutral. It affects the brain deeply. The solution is emotional reconnection before isolation becomes emotionally comfortable. Because isolation can slowly become addictive, the longer people withdraw, the harder social interaction begins to feel. And unfortunately, this creates a cycle. Isolation increases loneliness, and loneliness increases withdrawal. Breaking that cycle requires emotional courage. Another thing that happens when older adults stop socializing is increased sensitivity to stress. Social connection helps regulate the nervous system. Supportive relationships calm the brain during emotional difficulty. But isolated individuals often carry stress alone. And psychologically, stress feels heavier when there is no emotional support system. This is why isolated older adults often become more anxious, emotionally reactive, or overwhelmed by small problems. The solution psychologically is maintaining emotional support networks. No human being is meant to process life entirely alone. Not at 20, not at 40, not at 80. Another hidden effect of social withdrawal is that reality itself can become psychologically distorted. When people stop interacting regularly with others, they lose emotional feedback from the outside world. This can increase negativity, suspicion, pessimism, or distorted thinking patterns. Some isolated older adults begin believing, "No one cares about me. The world has become terrible. People are selfish. I'm completely alone." And without healthy interaction, these beliefs often grow stronger. The psychological solution is staying emotionally connected to humanity itself, not just through family, but through community, conversation, shared experiences, and meaningful interaction, because human connection protects emotional perspective. Now, here's something important. Solitude and isolation are not the same thing. Healthy solitude can be peaceful, restorative, and emotionally nourishing. Many older adults genuinely enjoy quiet time, and that is completely healthy. But harmful isolation happens when emotional withdrawal slowly disconnects a person from meaningful human interaction. The key psychological question is not, do you spend time alone? The question is, do you still feel emotionally connected to life and people? That difference matters enormously because emotionally connected people often maintain stronger mental health even with smaller social circles. Another important truth is this: many older adults stop socializing because they are grieving. They lost spouses, friends, health, confidence. And emotionally, withdrawal sometimes becomes a form of protection. The mind thinks, if I stop connecting, I stop risking pain. But unfortunately, emotional protection can slowly become emotional imprisonment. The psychological solution is gentle re-engagement with life, not forcing extroversion, but remaining open to human connection despite pain, because healing rarely happens in total isolation. If you are growing older and finding yourself withdrawing from people more and more, ask yourself honestly, are you choosing healthy solitude or slowly disconnecting from life emotionally? Because the human brain never stops needing connection. Not attention from everyone, but meaningful connection with someone. And if you have older parents, relatives, neighbors, or loved ones, remember this: social withdrawal in older age is not always laziness or personality. Sometimes it is loneliness. Sometimes it is depression. Sometimes it is grief. Sometimes it is fear. And one meaningful interaction can make a bigger psychological difference than you realize. A phone call matters. A visit matters. A conversation matters. Because what many older adults fear most is not aging itself. It is feeling emotionally forgotten. If this video spoke to you, write in the comments, do you think modern life is making older adults more socially isolated? And if you know someone slowly withdrawing from the world emotionally, share this video with them. Sometimes connection begins simply by reminding someone they still matter. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us for more psychology-based conversations about aging, emotional health, relationships, and the human mind. And remember, the body can survive in isolation for a long time, but the mind was built for connection.